Okay, well, hey everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Shout out to everyone who's writing their info in the chat. And if you just joined us, feel free to do so. Who you are, where you're from, your business, feel free to shoot your website information, all that jazz. So I'm Tiandra Williams. I'm a program coordinator with the U.S. Black Chambers Community Economic Development Corporation. And we wanted to, again, thank you all for joining us. We consider ourselves to be the voice of Black business and responsible for providing advocacy, tools, and resources to help businesses thrive. So we have Chazz here today, who's going to be our mental coach, and he can introduce himself, but he's going to take us through our session today. And then I'll wrap up kind of show everyone what we have going on and what's going to be coming up next. So Chazz, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Tiandra. I hope you guys can hear me well. First, I want to thank U.S. Black Chambers of Commerce for having me here today. And I see some people in the chat adding their business and introducing themselves. So I'll give my quick introduction on why I'm here and what I have to offer to kind of help you guys here is, so my name is Chazz Scott. I'm the founder and also a mind coach at Supra Mentem, which is a mind mental resilience consulting agency that helps entrepreneurs like yourself, as well as professionals and business people effectively understand how to use their mind so they can achieve their desires, whether it be monetarily, whether it be in any aspect of your life. So really this specific webinar is really about mental resilience and uncovering those self-limiting beliefs that actually can inhibit you from truly accomplishing the life that you yearn for yourself. And some of the stuff you may have heard before, maybe not in this light. So there's always good to have a reminder. And I'll be talking about, how to combat negative self-talk, some of the things that you can incorporate in terms of the imposter syndrome. I know those are a lot of questions that I received prior to the briefing. And then we'll talk about self-awareness and some tips to kind of get you guys through and not only survive, but thrive. All right, so I'll do a quick little story. I grew up as a military child. My father was a B-52 navigator in the United States Air Force, so I moved around a lot. Ended up spending most of my time outside of Baltimore in a town called Ellicott City, and then went down to Hampton University to study computer science. And then went ahead and got my master's in cybersecurity. From that point, I actually was able to publish numerous scientific papers. But during that time period, what I was really trying to do was understand how to make life work. And not only that, not only just survive, but thrive. And I started reading a whole lot, started incorporating some of these success principles and understand how to use my mind effectively. Then I started teaching that to kids. So in that picture that you can see there, I believe that's in Baltimore, in Randallstown Elementary School, where I started teaching kids how to effectively use their thoughts, actions, habits, character, destiny. I think that's actually what I wrote on the board there. And I started to realize how important it is to teach that to kids, right? So throughout my progression in terms of my cyber career as well as undergrad, started working at places there, which is a picture of Lawrence Livermore's National Laboratory, where I was working with particle physicists. And, you want to talk about the imposter syndrome, right? I would walk into the room and I'm looking at an astrophysicist and a nuclear physicist and a particle physicist, and we're working on network simulation tools, right? So in that moment, I had to develop mental resilience. In that moment, I had to understand who I was, my goals, my purpose, right? So I started to publish numerous scientific papers throughout my master's program, and very, very fun. Love what I do there. Beyond that, as I continued in my journey, I started to create a nonprofit called Positively Caviar. Those are two of my team members, Nikki and Shema, and the nonprofit is centered upon instilling mental resilience by way of intentional positive thinking. And cognitive science has proven that optimism and positive thinking is a learned trait, which means you can learn it over time, and your brain and the neurological structure of your brain changes in accordance to your thought patterns. So we started bringing that to youth, and we started that company that nonprofit 501c3 about 4 or 5 years ago. And we started doing mental wellness workshops with kids. And I started to realize, how involved these kids were in terms of instilling self-belief, giving them the vision to see something, into the future for themselves, and just giving them motivation. From there, we did lots of workshops throughout these 4 or 5 years. Did one at Hampton University, my alma mater, and then, as you can see, Black Enterprise actually showcased some of my work that I've been doing throughout, as well as Hampton. So I continued to progress in my career, as you can see, and even still, I was still looking for opportunities to challenge myself mentally and physically. And as you can see, this is my first marathon, and I'll talk to you guys about how this story and what I do in terms of ultra marathons and marathons actually is a microcosm to life. And this is my first ultra marathon, as you can see here. And I'll talk about how this will incorporate into your life as well. And then right now is what I do right now is Supra Mentem LLC, which is my consulting agency to provide coaching, kind of what I do right now, right? So throughout that storyline, there were 3 questions that I really wanted to nail down and understand. How to instill self-belief and motivate youth in underserved communities. What separates those who achieve success versus those who don't, and how to help meaningful change in people's lives. And it's really centered upon 2 things, specifically as it relates to this webinar: mental resilience, the ability to overcome adversity, and uncovering those self-limiting beliefs that we have in ourselves. So I really wanted to understand, what makes a happy life versus a sad life? What is great relationships versus bad relationships? Healthy versus sick, vitality and energy versus depressed and low self-esteem, wealthy and poor, right? Those people in life that take chances versus those people that stay in their comfort zone. I started to realize that people don't just become successful because of luck. There's no such thing. People are doing things in certain manners and certain ways to achieve their desired outcome and their goals. And I found some of these success principles to help make sure that you can thrive in your personal life as well as your professional life. So here's one of my favorite quotes. You don't get what you want. You get what you are, or what you believe. The reason why I like this quote is because a lot of people just think about, oh, I want to have this car, I want to have this money, I want to have this girlfriend, I want to have this wife, I want to have this husband. When in actuality, that is not what you always get. The reason why that is because your subconscious mind, which is like 95% of who you are, may be different than what you're actually telling yourself, which is consciously, I want this, I want that. So it's really the desire and the belief that you truly have and embody within yourself is what you receive out of life. You never get those things unless you truly embody it. And that includes your physical actions, your behaviors, the people that you interact with, how you stand, how you talk, your nonverbals all contribute to your subconscious mind and who you think you are and how much money you think you deserve and the desires that you want out of life. Okay. And a lot of people feel like, they're not even deserving of some of the desires or things that they want. And, they have like this guilt complex, there's regrets, there's something outside of me punishing me, there's something outside of me controlling me, my zodiac sign controls me, my self-limiting beliefs that I don't even know about affect my confidence, God is punishing me for something I regretted in the past, the so-called devil is punishing me because of this, right? And we tend to blame things outside of ourselves when things don't go right in our lives. So what I'm trying to do is help people how to effectively use their mind to push themselves to their desired outcome. All right, one of my favorite slides, conditioning and self-limiting beliefs. So we all throughout our lives, we hear a lot of sayings and things that actually seep into our subconscious minds. One of those happens to be money doesn't grow on trees, dream, but don't dream too big. The reason why I like some of these sayings is because we hear these things over and over again, and we sometimes we hear them and subconsciously we accept them. And if we accept them and we don't even realize that we're accepting them, it begins to control our entire lives. So for example, if you believe that, money is the root of all evil and blah, 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 and you want to become wealthy or you want to provide for your family, you would continue to think as if being wealthy is beyond your grasp, right? Then it becomes a script that is ingrained in your subconscious mind. And guess what? Your reality corresponds to that appropriately. So you have to be very careful and aware of those scripts that you received when you were a child and how you continue to grow. A lot of us are stuck in a scarcity mindset. There's not enough water. There's not enough love. There's not enough happiness to go around. There's not enough knowledge to share. Some people like to hoard their ideas. Some people like to hoard their love. And when really there's enough, there's an abundance of all of these things. And then you hear the sayings, your self-talk, I'm not good enough, you'll never amount to anything. Maybe a teacher told you that. And some of those have been seeped into your subconscious mind, and they continue to influence yourself in the workplace and as you continue to grow older. And it's getting worse because distractions, the always-on lifestyle, our attention spans are actually declining. It's really funny. Microsoft Corporation put out a study and said our attention spans are now shorter than a goldfish. I'm not entirely sure how you measure the attention span of a goldfish, but nonetheless, it's dropped from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. So you can understand how, focusing on a particular task at work or focusing on a particular conversation with your loved one or your significant other, how important that is in your life. And if our attention spans are dropping, we need to become more self-aware of the conditioning that is happening throughout our lives. So that picture right there, I absolutely love that picture. I don't know if people realize this, but as elephants continue to grow, matter of fact, when they're very, very small, they're actually attached to this puny little rope, right? And as they continue to grow, they're still attached and trained to this puny little rope. But as you can see, the elephant is 10 times bigger than that rope, but it cannot pull away, right? So it's physically, he can pull away, he or she can pull, the elephant can pull away, but mentally, the belief system traps the elephant and thinks as if it can't go beyond its comfort zone, when in reality it can. So the elephant is held back not by the puny rope, but by its internal belief system, that subconscious mind. And the question is, are you as well? I remember one of my self-limiting beliefs, or I guess underlying unconscious beliefs, where I would never turn my heat in my house above 73 degrees. And I would be in the house kind of cold and not comfortable. And I would think that if I turned it to 75 or 74, I would be spending more money that I didn't have. And, through meditation and things, I was like, it doesn't make any sense. It's just a couple dollars to feel comfortable, Chazz. So there are a lot of other self-limiting beliefs and things that we kind of deeply ingrain in our subconscious mind that influence us. The quote there by Henry Ford, obviously, whether you think you can or you think that you can't, either way, you are right. All right, so here's an exercise that I need everybody to try and do. I'm going to pull up the chat to see if people can chat in this. But what I usually do is I allow people to speak, but we're just going to do the chat here, and you guys are going to silently do it by yourself. So I'm going to ask you 4 questions. I want you to listen very closely to my voice and answer as quickly as you can. The first thought that comes up, okay? Everybody ready? Let me see if I can get some yeses in the chat to see if you guys are still with me. All right. Okay, let's get it. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Let's go. What color are fluffy clouds against a clear sky? Just say it in your head. What color is a sheet of brand new copy paper? All right. What color is fresh snow on a winter day? Okay. What do cows drink? Was anybody's first guess milk or first thought milk? All right, we're seeing some yeses. Okay, so the exercise actually worked a little bit, okay? So the real reason why we just did that is because the neurological structure of our brain actually develops a really deep neural net. Now, a lot of people think that cows drink milk. They don't. They drink water. Cows actually drink milk when they're younger, but cows actually drink water. So the reason why we actually put this into an exercise here is because there is a neural net developed into your brain. The neurological structure of your brain through repetition and consistency, through content, through what your parents have told you, through what society tells you, has developed a neural net in your brain to basically attach certain things to make your mind a little bit more efficient. There's so much information flowing around in your brain that we tend to categorize things, and this makes it more efficient for our brain to find certain information to support our lives, right? So this happens with every thought that you have. It creates efficiencies in your mind, but as you can see, if this was applied to something else, it can be disruptive and wreak havoc on some of the goals that you have and the decisions that you make across throughout your life. All right, so I hope that was a really good a segue into what I'm talking about here. I get really excited about this stuff, guys, because it can truly change your life. Okay, so the subconscious mind, right? The subconscious mind is about 5 and 10% of who we are. That is everything that we are consciously aware of, right? Consciously aware of. I'm going to pick up my phone. I'm going to pick up the remote to turn on the TV. I am solely aware of that. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The subconscious mind is about 90 to 95% of who we are. Okay. Now, as you can see in the mountain over there, the glacier, you can see that the tip of the glacier above the water represents your conscious mind, your behaviors, your goals, your plans that you have for yourself, the innate desire to push your business to the next level, your decisions, your strategies. That is at the conscious level. That's only about 5 to 10% of who we are. That's insane, right? So you mean to tell me throughout our lives, we are operating in a 5 to 10% basis? Subconsciously, this is really who we are at our core. Happens to be our values, our feelings, our imagination, our fears, our beliefs, our tastes, our patterns, and our values. And throughout life, between the ages of 0 and 6, especially, your brain is actually in alpha and down in the theta waves, which actually allows your brain to suck up more information. That's why, you got to be careful about what you say to your kids, or if you have kids or around kids, because they suck it up very, very quickly because their subconscious minds and their neural net is still being developed. Make sense? Now, here's where it gets interesting. Our subconscious minds can alter and change and reprogram through repetition. That's why affirmations are so important, through certain symbols, through visualization. That's why people do vision boards, because it actually has an effect on your subconscious mind, as well as meditation and or prayer, which we call altered states of consciousness. And when you actually bring down your brainwave levels into a more calm state, that's when you can effectively program your subconscious mind to help you achieve your desires, to help you stop self-sabotaging yourself to achieve the desires that you really want out of life. Okay. So let me put it a little bit more plainly here. If you want to be happy, insert here, money, better relationship, anything that is positive in nature, and your subconscious mind does not agree with that in accordance to what people may have told you in the past about yourself or the type of content that you listen to, the underlying beliefs are going to be opposite. So guess who's going to win? Your subconscious mind. That's why people, when they're looking for relationships or certain love, the person might be right in front of their eyes, but they'll self-sabotage themselves, or they want a certain income, but they don't actually believe that they're deserving of that certain income. That's their subconscious mind talking, and it operates unconsciously throughout our entire lives. And this is why habits are so hard. Going to the gym, going to the picking up a new habit, waking up early in the morning. People take one step forward in life and then 2 steps back. It's because they haven't effectively reprogrammed their subconscious mind to influence 90% of who we are. And again, I'm going back to that quote. You don't get what you want out of life, you get what you are. What you want is your conscious mind. What you are is your subconscious mind. Self-awareness is the beginning of self-transformation, okay? All right, here's one of my other favorite slides. Actually, all these are my favorite slides. As you can see, as you walk around in life, your subconscious mind sucks up more information than your conscious mind. As you can see, the arrow right there, as you can see on the mouse, is much bigger than the one going into the conscious mind. Okay, so a fact is our conscious minds can only handle something of 40 bits of information per second. Our unconscious minds or our subconscious minds can handle 11 million bits of information per second. That is insane. So let me break it down. Have you ever seen the movie Limitless? In the movie Limitless, I can't remember if it's a red pill or green pill, whatever the case may be. The guy takes a pill and he thinks he can do everything. His memory is better. He excels at life. His relationships get more colorful. His life becomes an amazing experience. He is tapping into his subconscious mind effectively at all times. So it would be like this. An example would be walking down the street in the middle of NYC, and you remember every single detail of your external experience. The color of every person's, the color of a person's eye color that you see, the numbers that you see, the symbols, a receipt that you see of purchases that you see of every number, every word that a person has said when you're walking down the street, and every sound that is in your external circumstance. You are able to, when you walk from your home to your work, to your job, you are able to just say everything that you remembered or saw, right? Obviously, most people can't do that, but our subconscious mind are sucking up all that information. That's why it's so important to be careful about the type of content that you bring into your life, scrolling on social media, the type of TV shows that you watch, the type of books that you read, the type of people that you surround yourself with influence your subconscious mind and actually confirm who you think you are. Right? I put think in italicized think, to think and confirm who you think you are. So you got to be careful about the type of content that you are bringing to your life because your subconscious mind is sucking up everything. Make sense? All right. So your subconscious mind, your beliefs, right? We talked about the neural net connections in your subconscious mind. We talked about how our internal beliefs govern who we are, how much money we think we should earn, right? And then our relationships and our health, right? This is what determines a successful life, which, you can define a successful life in accordance to your definition, versus an unsuccessful life or not living your fullest potential, I should say. So there are good beliefs that are mapped into our neural net, and we don't even have to consciously think about it, right? Don't cross the street without looking both ways. Don't touch the hot stove. As soon as that happens, guess what? There's a trauma or pain, and then it gets programmed into your neural net, and then the next time as you continue to grow older to not touch the hot stove. This is an innate function, right? It helps us to learn. Okay, and then self-limiting beliefs, or I should say maybe quote unquote bad beliefs that can actually limit us. Money is the root of all evil. I don't feel like I'm worthy. I really want to go back to the money of the root of all evil thing. It's really the love of money, the root of all evil, but you got to be careful about those things, because if you subconsciously believe that money is bad or evil, even though you may desire it to put your life or your family in a better place, it will cause you nothing but problems as you try to pursue it. Because guess what? You continue to self-sabotage yourself as you continue to pursue the very goal that you desire. Because your subconscious, you subconsciously believe that this is something of bad. Everybody is rich and a bad person. Having money is bad, and it puts you in a guilt complex, right? So you have to be very careful about those things that you subconsciously believe. I don't feel like I'm worthy. My unhappiness is outside of my control. I continue to blame others, and it's selfish. It's selfish of me to want more, right? You have to be very, very, very careful. I find, especially in the Black community, we have this guilt complex of making money or being happy or being successful. Listen, God wants you to be successful. God wants you to make money so you can help more people. This guilt complex actually inhibits your success in your life. You have to throw it out and to really, truly believe in yourself so you can help other people. Okay? Guilt does not help you. And neither does, being guilty for being happy. When you get happy, this is what I want you to say to yourself. When you get really, really extremely happy, say to yourself, I love this experience and I want more of it. Don't be guilty of being happy. Okay. I feel like a lot of people are in that guilt complex. Okay. So 1 and 2, be conscious and aware of your subconscious programming to fully achieve your desires. And you can actually effectively reprogram your mind to achieve your goals. I got to move a little bit faster here. Okay. This is one of my favorite quotes. Again, it's not what you actually say out your mouth that determines your destiny. It's that quiet whisper you say to yourself that has the most power, right? It's that quiet whisper, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy if you are not consciously aware of the whispers and the underlying beliefs that you are saying to yourself to fully achieve your life potential. Many of you have probably seen this before. Again, your actions influence other people's beliefs and the people that you have around you. You're creating your reality and how people approach you and relate to you. So if you want a business deal with somebody and you don't truly innately believe that you're going to attain that business deal subconsciously, right? And you don't believe that you're deserving of that business deal, guess what? Your nonverbals are going to show through. The way that you talk is going to show through. The way that you stand is going to show through. You won't be confident. You won't feel as if you've already accomplished the goal that you've set for yourself, right? And guess what? The other person on the side that you want that deal from or that partnership with, they'll also sense it themselves. And they'll say, you know what, maybe we need to move on to somebody else, right? So it's really important that you're aware of this. And then we'll also talk about, inaccurate, social stereotypes, about your skin color, your sex, your age, your social economic status. You have to be very careful about how other people's opinions shape your own belief system about yourself, right? You have to be careful about yourself and what you are thinking. All right. I'm going to go a little slow, but I just want to make sure I can fit everything in through this time frame here. All right. Let's see. One of my favorite slides. All right. So I'm sure each of you have seen these people before, right? I've studied all of them. I've studied everybody, watched their videos, read their books, everything. Let me tell you something. Success leaves clues. People don't just become successful because of luck. They are doing something different. And sometimes they don't even know what they're doing, which I call unconscious competent, but we'll talk about that later, right? So each of these people that you see here, listen, I'm going to talk about their stories really quickly. Resilience and internal self-belief within themselves, okay? Let's talk about Mike Tyson, right? Mike was bullied growing up. I don't know if you guys realize this. He had terrible, terrible self-image, no self-confidence, and he's one of the greatest fighters that ever lived. So what happened? Customato, who happened to be his coach in the, growing up, pulled him from the streets and actually coached him and engaged his internal belief system. They actually sent him to a hypnosis, which is actually an effective way to influence your subconscious mind and his underlying beliefs. If you look at some of his videos now and some of the way that he was a boxer, you can see, I don't really know how, he grew up like that. He looks like a completely different person. It's because he effectively reprogrammed his subconscious mind. Okay, let's go to Oprah, right? She has a deep belief in herself. I remember watching interviews about her when she was super young, and she basically told herself, I believe I can do anything. I believe I can do anything, right? We're talking about that belief, that underlying belief of who you think you are and where you are going in life. So quick story, when she wanted to be on the movie Color Purple and she read the book, she didn't know who Steven Spielberg was. She didn't know who Quincy Jones was, but she read the book and was just so happy and excited about trying to be in this movie. And let me tell you, she wasn't an actor at that time, right? She said in an interview, she started handing out books, the Color Purple book, to anybody that she knew on the bus, random people, because she just knew on God's green earth that she wanted to be in this movie. And sure enough, she got into that movie. So it was that deep underlying belief within herself. We could talk about Drake, right? Drake, rapper, he just bought built $100 million home in Toronto. And in an interview, you'll hear some, and this is a visualization technique. When he was growing up, it's really funny. He used to drive his dates in the same neighborhood where he is living right now. So basically, he would say to his girl, the person that he took out, he would say, "Come on, let me show you where I'm going to live someday," right? So he would take them around the street, and it happened to be, 20, 30, 20 years later, or 15 years later, whatever the case may be, he actually built that home where that street was. So visualization is really, really important here. And that's exactly what he did. And he would say, hey, this is where Prince lives, and I'm going to live here someday. Guess what? He did just that. Your words and your visualization and your thoughts influence your life. Diddy, you can watch many of his videos. He has his deep underlying belief. Let's talk about Tyler Perry. I don't know if you guys realize it, but Tyler Perry in his Medea plays, he did not stop. First, he saved $12,000 from his tax returns, renting out the 14th Street Playhouse. He thought 1,200 people would show up. Only 30 people showed up, and he knew everybody. He had one show per year between 1992 and 1998, and only 30 people showed up continuously. But now you can see, right, he has a studio in Atlanta that is getting huge deals with Paramount Pictures and things of that nature, right? And now his mantra is, you cannot stop believing, and, a place where dreams even believe. Last but not least, Robert Smith. I think he's the richest African-American in the country, America. So when he was young, he wanted to get an internship at Bell Labs, which is, used to be AT&T, or now is AT&T. And he called Bell Labs when he was I believe a junior in high school. And they told him, yeah, we do have internships, right? And he said, I'm a high school student. He's like, and they said, we only do it for college students. And he said he called every day for 2 weeks to see if he could get this internship, because he had this deep underlying belief that he knew what he wanted and he was going to get it, right? And then after that, when he couldn't push through, he called every Monday for 5 months, right, to see if he could get this internship. And sure enough, the HR director called his house a couple months after that and said, hey, listen, we got this internship here. This MIT student didn't show up. Can you interview? Right? And the rest is history, right? Yes. Okay. Look at that. Powerful manifestation. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, all I talk about is manifestation. I just want to be able to help you effectively use your mind to achieve your deepest desires. All right. So let's go ahead and move forward, because I got a lot to discuss. So, why are people successful and why are others not, right? And that really depends on what your definition of success looks like, right? But I think you can name tons of dumb, wealthy people, tons of people that are successful that aren't necessarily smart. And here's what I want you to realize is you don't technically have to be smart per se, or have this insane amount of intellect to live a happy and successful life, or to earn the certain amount of income that you want. The people that I described in that last slide are all doing particular things in a certain way to achieve their deepest desires. Some consciously know how to do it. Most do not, which I call unconsciously competent. Some people are consciously competent. What I'm trying to do is get you consciously competent to achieve your desires more effectively and faster. So it's less about intellect, insert here, your skin color, your sex, where you were born, any of those underlying beliefs that you feel like are controlling you. It's really about how you can use your mind effectively. Okay. All right. So one of the things that I think you'll find is a lot of those people found a quality called resilience, the ability to persist through difficulties, despite this, in disappointments and, despite adversity. And what they call, a lot of people, they used to say, in terms of IQ, there's also the adversity quotient. AQ is actually more beneficial to you in your life than your IQ, the ability to overcome challenges to push you towards your desired outcome. So you must equip your mind and give yourself the foundation to instill better habits and overcome those negative self-talk or those habits that you have in yourself, right? And a thought, and let me tell you, a thought is a chemical response in the brain. So each time that you think a thought, guess what? There are neurotransmitters that are emitted into the brain, dopamine, serotonin, that actually influence your bodily functions, how you feel, how you talk, how you walk, the ability to overcome adversity. So you have to be very careful about how you think during these times. I'm going to talk about an example here as well. The quote at the bottom, oh, excuse me, let me go back to the top there. New research talks about neuroplasticity and epigenetics. Neuroplasticity is the study of how your brain neural pathways change over time in accordance to your thought patterns. So people used to think, you got to be careful about what people tell you. People used to think that our brains were just given to you and you couldn't change them. And I'm going to stay this way forever. That's not the case. According to your thought patterns, the people that you surround yourself with, your external experiences, repetition and consistency, your thoughts actually develop new neural pathways in your brain to help you achieve your desired outcomes. They change in accordance to your thought patterns. And by definition, you're changing the structure of your brain based upon your thought patterns. Epigenetics, also new research. People used to think that genes were just given to us and we couldn't change them. My parents were fat, I'm fat. My parents were bad with money, I'm bad with money. Anything under the book. Studies have shown, yes, you can be predisposed to certain ailments and certain things, but studies have shown your external circumstance, as well as what you eat, who you surround yourself with, the type of content and thoughts that you have a significant more effect on your genes more than what your parents have given you. Epigenetics means above, meaning I have more power over my genetic destiny than what my parents have given me. Does that make sense? Because a lot of people need to realize that and understand that. Okay. And the quote there, we are all inbred with certain amount of resilience. It's not until we're tested, until we really recognize our inner strength, by Kwasi Mufume. I actually put that quote in there because my grandfather actually taught him when he was in middle school and high school. So that's funny. Okay, so the question is, how do you respond to adversity? Okay, let's go to the left, low resilience muscle. There's nothing I can do. I can't do anything about it. This is out of my reach. I don't think I can do this. No one will marry me. It's all my fault. I'm such an idiot. I'm such a failure. I should have known better, right? I'm not good with computers. These are all like internal dialogues that we have with ourselves. And sometimes we're not even self-aware to even hear this voice in our head, but it's influencing every action that we take and to push us towards either our desired location or, somewhere we don't want to go, right? So you have to be very careful about that. Now, here's where we can change your language to support a high resilience muscle. So you can overcome your adversity quicker so you could get on to living your life, right? Living your life. Sorry about that. I get too excited. I can learn from this failure. This is tough, but I've seen tougher. There's always a way. I've got to figure out a way. There must be something I can do. There are several factors at play. The whole industry is suffering. And those last two are saying, it's not just me. There are things that I can do, or there's things outside of my external experience that sometimes we can't control, but we can control how we respond. So I'll give you an example. You wake up in the morning, you stub your toe, you try to grab your coffee. When you're heading out the door, you spill it, maybe in your car. You're on your way to work, and you stop at you seem to be stopping at every single stoplight on your way to work, which ends up making you late for a 9 a.m. meeting. You walk in flustered, you walk in angry, and your performance is not up to par at work. And at the end of the day, all of these small adversities add up. And you basically say at the end of the day, man, I had a tough day. Now, imagine if you had the self-awareness to say, hey, things, if I stub my toe, it's like, okay, great. My toe didn't fall off. I'm good. Let me change my perception about that. Okay, I dropped my coffee. All right, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm glad I had maybe the little sip that I did, but, I'm going to get a coffee when I get to Starbucks at my job, because there's a Starbucks in every block, right? So it's all about changing your perspective on your situations. Those little adversities that we have throughout our life can culminate to the performance that you have at work, as well as your relationships. This is why you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful because those small adversities, those things that happen in your daily life can actually spill over into your relationships, right? You got to compartmentalize your life and become self-aware. It'll spill over into your performance at work. It'll spill over into your health. That's not what we want. We want to own our minds to make you use it to the best of your ability. Quote down there, your life will move in the direction of your thoughts and words. Speak victory, not defeat. I'll talk about this really quickly. This is my first ultra marathon. I call it the microcosm of life. You start at 6 a.m. and it was really, really hard, right? I was up in the mountains. My fiance actually drove out there with me in the middle of Pennsylvania, and it's about 30 miles of running and hiking. And what I really want to describe to you here is the microcosm of life and how basically when ultra marathoners or marathoners, what they call hitting a wall, which is around mile 16 or mile 18, there's this discomfort, there's this adversity, there's this negative self-talk, there's this doubt. So, throughout this race and other races that I've been on, there's two voices in your head. I can do this versus I can't do this. You hear this voice throughout your entire life. When you read a book, when you do the dishes, when you write a paper, what are you saying to yourself when adversity hits for you to accomplish your goal, right? You need to continue to push towards that threshold so you can tolerate that sort of mental discomfort so you can get to your desired goal. And running has helped me understand that and helped me articulate this as well here. All right, so here's a activity kind of you can do into the future here with your life, is we need to consciously respond to life, not unconsciously react. So what does that look like? We have to develop a psychological awareness to consciously respond, not unconsciously react, right? And a lot of people don't know the difference. Reacting is an instant gut reaction. I stubbed my toe, or I spilled my coffee, or the day just isn't going right. So your gut reaction is, oh, it's all downhill from here. I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to get that. And then your day actually corresponds to your thoughts. And you end up actually having a bad day. Now, imagine if you were actually to respond to that, consciously respond and have a mindfulness and become self-aware to respond to life circumstance. And what you'd continuously do is to develop an attunement with yourself to realize that, hey, I may not be able to control all of my external surroundings in my life, but guess what? Guess what I can control? I can control my emotions. I can control my thoughts, and I can control, how certain things in my life affect me. Because guess what? This is where suffering comes into place. When things happen in our lives and we get stuck in this loop and we feel like we can't get ourselves out. But imagine if you were to consciously respond to those life circumstances and put yourself in a better position to put yourself, above or closer to your desired outcome. Because oftentimes, when we react, it's something that we regret later. All right. And the quote down there, obviously, I'm convinced that life is 10% of what happens to me as opposed to 90% of how I react to it. Right. So it all starts with your attitude and how you visually see your life. Okay. Ask yourself 3 questions. This is what I want you to do. I want you to think of me. I want you to think of this presentation. Next time you are in an adversity in your life, or a small adversity or a big adversity, I need you to ask yourself these 3 questions. Does this adversity have to reach into other areas of my life? We talked about that spillover, right? It's going to spill into my relationships. It's going to spill over into my work career. It's going to spill over into my health, right? So your boss makes you upset about your performance review and you unconsciously lash out towards your husband or wife or your significant other, right? You have to be very conscious and aware. We have to ask ourselves better questions to put ourselves in a better position to compartmentalize our life so that adversity does not spill over into our lives. Okay. What can I do about it? A lot of us, when an adversity hits, we stop. We don't do anything about it. And we're in this victim point of view, and we don't become a victor of our situation. So we got to act. We got to do something. We got to figure out how you can do something. So you're not in this self-perpetuating cycle And number three is, does this adversity have to last any longer than necessary? This is where suffering comes into play. So a self-perpetuating cycle that continues to develop into long-term stress that can influence your health and your relationships and everything else in your life. So ask yourself these three questions. I don't care if you take a screenshot, do what you can. Just ask yourself these three questions. I'm here to kind of make an impact on your life so you can fully achieve your deepest desires. Okay, I'll run through this one pretty quickly, but I really just want you to let you know how important your thoughts are and how they actually have an effect on your physical health. So Henry Dyer is the author of The Immune Power of Personality. His quote is, "To the astonishment of many immunologists, it turns out that our thoughts and feelings are mediated by brain chemicals that also regulate our body's defenses. In other words, the chemical carriers of our human emotions directly influence our physical health," right? So we need to be very careful and aware of how adversity affects our lives, because it can actually have an effect on our physical health. How you respond to life events can influence your health. A British study followed 69 women with breast cancer for 5 years. Women who did not suffer a reoccurrence tended to be those who had, quote unquote, what they say, a fighting spirit, right? It was their underlying belief that they believed that they could overcome. Those who suffered a reoccurrence tended to respond to their initial diagnosis with acceptance or helplessness. Martin Singleton, who is the father of positive psychology, assessed that the optimism of 34 women with breast cancer, those who responded to life's events most constructively, lived the longest. And this is getting to a study which is new, fairly new, just called psychoneuroimmunology, which our thoughts literally have an effect on our bodily functions. This is insane stuff, but I got to tell you the knowledge that is happening out here, okay? All right, so we talked about some of the success principles. I'm going to get into the quick activities, and then we're almost done here. So what is it? What's the secret stuff to live a successful and happy life? Is it luck? Is it nepotism? Is it education? Is it better genes? A PhD? Knowing the right people? Is it because you're nice? It's really none of that, right? It's really how you can effectively use your mind to achieve your desired outcome. And a lot of people, like I mentioned, are unconsciously competent of their successes. So you would ask them, how did you become so successful? I don't know. I just love what I did, right? But they know how to effectively use their mind, and they had, guess what? The internal self-belief that they believed that they could really do what they could do. What I'm trying to do is get everybody here to be consciously competent with effective strategies that I'm going to share with a little bit to you today, right? So the secret here is positive and correct thought about oneself. And if you can have positive and correct thought about yourself, and you know where you're headed and you have a goal for yourself, it's a mathematical certainty that you will get to your desired goal. This is science, okay? This is what I want to ingrain into everyone's head. If you do something once, it's an event. If you do something twice and the external result is the same, it's considered a coincidence. But if you do something a third time, this is a science. There is a science to success. There is a science to health. There is a science to having a prosperous, full life and to be happy. There is a science to this. And, there are strategies out here to help you. All right. And last but not least, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it the secret. You can call it cosmic law. You can call it luck. You can call it law of attraction, faith, belief, the placebo effect, the subconscious mind, the rich switch. Honestly, I don't care what you call it. I just need you to understand that this power is within you to truly transform your life, to put you on the path of whatever you want. Okay. And this is law, just like gravity. So, if I throw a ball up in the air, guess what? Guess where the ball is going to go? It's going to go down, right? If I have positive and correct thought about myself, and I have a deep belief and desire about where I'm going in life, guess where you're going to go? You're going to get there. And the quote at the bottom is, luck is a term that we use to explain away things that we don't consciously understand yet. I love that quote. All right. So we have knowledge. Okay. So if you have knowledge plus action, that gives you power. right? But if you only take in the knowledge and don't have action, then, you're stuck, right? So, in James chapter 2, 11, 17, faith by itself, if not accompanied by action, is dead. So you have to be aware of some of the knowledge that, I'm explaining to you here, and then take action. All right. So self-talk, right? It's that underlying deep belief within yourself. All right. What is your running dialogue? Ask yourself. Look at the brain there. Can I do it? Can I not? Either way, you're right. How do I speak? How do I talk? How do I walk? All of this is influenced by our subconscious mind and the way that we talk to ourselves and that underlying belief within ourselves. You have to develop a habit of affirming yourself. That's why affirmations are so important, because they develop new neurological pathways in your brain to help you achieve your desired outcome. And like I said, you have to be very careful of the people that you associate yourself with, the TV that you watch, especially right before you go to sleep and especially right when you wake up, the social media content that you look at, the magazines, the billboards, and all of those conversations that feed into your subconscious mind and your mind. Because guess what? You have to feed your mind mental protein. Whatever is impressed into the subconscious mind is what is expressed. Okay? All right. Are your habits inhibiting your success? Check yourself right before you leave the house, or should I say the bed now, since most of us work from home. Your attitude determines your altitude. Like we talked about, it's your perspective. What am I giving? If there's adversity in my life, what type of perspective am I giving to influence the desired outcome that I really want? It's all about attitude. Your morning routine, find a way to, put yourself in the morning routine, whether it's exercise, meditation, prayer. Get yourself where you're getting to do a ritual each day, so you set yourself up sets yourself up for success for your life, mentally, spiritually, as well as physically. And who do you surround yourself with? You got to be careful about those people that you surround yourself with. Your diet, there's a gut and brain connection. Studies have shown that depending on the types of foods that you eat, can actually help you optimize your brain more effectively, make better decisions, have more positive thoughts, even down to that level. And to just be careful with the content that you consume. All of these little things influence your entire life, okay? So no more waking up on the wrong side of the bed, okay? We're not doing that anymore. We're consciously being aware of how external circumstances influence us, so we can put ourselves in the best position to overcome our adversities and push us towards the life that we truly desire. Okay? All right. So I'm almost done here. What I want each and every one to do, if you can, I'm giving you guys a free workbook that talks about a little bit of the stuff that we did here today, but it really helps you overcome these self-limiting beliefs as well as combat negative thoughts. And I had some help from my fiance to help with this. But if you take out your phone and hover your phone over top of that QR code, which is the digitized thing there, with your camera, you should see a link pop up, and that'll take you to this free workbook. And I'll also actually add this link to the chat as well. Okay, so that's my free gift to you, because I realize that there's an abundance of information, and I'm not going to hoard information, right? We're not in a scarcity mindset. We're in an abundance mindset where we can help people. And that's what I'm here to do, okay? And last but not least, and I think we have time for a feeling of questions, I have a goal setting mastery webinar coming up February 4th, 2021 at 6 p.m. I chose this date specifically because 80% of people actually fail their New Year's resolutions by mid-February. So I'm here to kind of give you a recharge. I'll talk to you about how you can figure out where the goals, how to effectively set goals. I'll talk to you how what's going on in the brain, the importance of affirmations, and we'll also do some really, really powerful visualization techniques to truly, truly master your mind to push you towards your desired outcome. I'll also place the link of this webinar in the Zoom link, and you can also hover your phone over the QR code But as you can see, I'm giving you guys a promo code using mine 2021 for 15% off the tickets. And I believe the tickets are $15. And, this, let me add it here in the chat here. There we are. And you can go ahead and sign up. I'm truly, truly excited about this. And if I could leave you guys with one thing here in terms of goals, a lot of people walk around in life and look at things and say, I don't want that. I don't want this, right? Too many of us walk around in life saying that they don't want certain things. Not enough of us actually say what we want or even know what we want. So it's really important that we understand what we truly desire. We define and have clarity on where we are going in our life. Clarity is your power. You have to be clear about your goals. But not only that, you have to open your mind up to be able to receive your blessings, right? So if God wants to bless you with whatever, anything that you want in your life, and you want to bless yourself and your family, you have to open up your mind and be able to not allow yourself to self-sabotage yourself under those underlying beliefs that may inhibit your success and the love that you have for yourself and others, and the money that you want to have, and the revenue that you want to have in your business. All of that plays an important role, and your goals are really important to do just that. Okay. And this is my last slide, and I think if we have time, we can field some questions. So I do personalized coaching sessions. I do 20-minute discovery phone calls. Those are, I have a promo code for that on my website. Those are free right now if you use the promo code. I also do mental resilience coaching sessions, as well as a 1-month coaching package, as well as a high-end coaching package. I've worked with athletes. I've worked with entrepreneurs. I've consulted lots of different people, and really it gets down to the end goal is how can you effectively use your mind to achieve your desired outcomes, right? Whether it be love, whether it be happiness, whether it be monetarily, whatever the case may be, your mind can help you achieve that. Okay. And you can see my phone number there. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. And you can use that QR code again if you want to follow any of my social media handles for more content like this, as well as my YouTube channel. All right. So I think that is all that I have. I really appreciate it. Tiandra, I don't know if we're going to have time for questions.
We are a bit over, but if anyone doesn't mind, say, hey, let's go for it. I can maybe read off one question here. So let's see. What do we have? Okay. So Chazz, the question is, what is the balance between denial and rewiring your thoughts, i.e. not suppressing authentic emotions and thoughts?
I'm going to have to, let me see that question one more time. Say that one more time. I don't see it here.
What is the balance between denial and rewiring your thoughts? Example, not suppressing authentic emotions and thoughts.
Yeah, there's a balance there. And I'm not sure if I understand your question correctly, but there's certainly a balance. You have to be very careful about, your desired goal, your outcome, and what you want in your life. It all stems from, what you want out of your life and where you want to go. And, there are underlying beliefs that have been subconsciously ingrained in your mind that actually you believe that they're truth, and they're not necessarily true to you. And they can actually inhibit who you are or where you want to go in your life. So, truth and knowing where you are headed is really, really important, so you can understand this truth does not support me. So if this truth does not support me, what do I need to do to put me on a path of the truth that will support me, so it won't be a detriment to myself? And studies have shown through overtime, through repetition, consistency, you can change that neurological structure in your brain, because your words and your thoughts influence your brain as well as your destiny. So, you're never stuck. You can overcome. And it is the power between, this important piece right here, your brain and your mind, and you use your thoughts and your actions and your habits to influence that.
Awesome. So we're at 2:05, so I will go ahead and wrap up. Um, and if there are any other questions, like feel free, he has his contact information in there. I believe, Chaz, we're gonna have oh, and please you dropped the presentation where people can sign up with your QR code and all of that in the chat, correct?
I sure did. If I did it,
Yep.
let me know, but I thought I did.
Yep. So yeah, you all can go check that out. But now I want to go ahead and run through some other events that we have coming up. So thank you, Chaz, so much. It was a really intriguing session. I know, again, I was personally really excited about this and super helpful. You were preaching. So appreciate it. Let me show my screen to you all, so you all can check out what it is that we have coming up next. All right. Here we go. I'm going to share. All right. So let's go through here. Here we go. Okay. So if you've ever attended any of our Grow with Google sessions, we've previously mentioned introducing our Black-owned business attribute. So we do have those sessions. You can check this out on our website, but also grow.google/Black-owned. And here you can also find on our website as well, but you can go directly to buyblack.us. This is where you can just register your business, check out other, and create a profile is mainly, but it's a really interesting platform. Well, not only it's not just a list hosting Black businesses, but it's interactive and you can be very specific in what it is you're fielding for, but you can create your own profile as well. So buyblack.us. Advancing Black entrepreneurship for business. These are usually Tuesday sessions. And our next one is going to be on the 26th at 2 p.m. The Power of Capital. And you can also just visit our website, usblackchambers.org, and visit our webinars page where we have a lot of on-demand videos. And you'll also be able to see, again, some upcoming events that we're going to have. And so again, our next ones are going to be the 21st, a Grow with Google session, February 5th, and then February 8th. We do have a guided hit and workout where we're going to discuss, also have a small business discussion for our cool down. So it'll be the first of our kind there. So it should be really interesting. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us. And again, check out Chazz's page, and we will see you all at our next one. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.